Hi everyone, you are welcome to another video session here on Slicker Gist. So today we are going to continue with our HTML tutorial. So in the last session we talked about, we had a general overview about HTML, then we actually introduced us to what HTML is all about. We also discussed about the course requirements, and for this course we said we are going to limit ourselves to Visual Studio Code, although there are other editors online which you can use, which you can download and make use of, but for the purpose of uniformity, so we are going to restrict ourselves to Visual Studio Code. And then so now today our tutorial session is basically going to focus on four things. So we're going to talk about HTML elements, then we also talk about HTML attributes, then after that we'll talk about headers and then paragraphs. So the for the purpose of following a well organized and well structured syllabus. So we are going to be following W3 Schools. W3 Schools is a very popular web platform for learning web development. So if in case you've not heard about W3 School, just go straight to your Google. Now I've opened my Google on my Chrome. So click on, you can just Google search W3 Schools. Well, the website is very simple, but in case you are confused, just type W3 Schools on Google. So you can see the first search result is their official website, so which is w3schools.com. So I click on it. Then here I'm going to land straight to the landing page. So however, there are a lot of tutorials on W3 Schools, but for the purpose of this class, we are going to look at HTML. So I click on learn HTML. So now we are, like I said, we are following the syllabus, and we've already introduced HTML to us, so we just go straight to HTML elements. So I click on HTML elements. So now according to W3 Schools, an HTML element is defined by a start tag, some content, and an end tag. So well, in order not to waste our times, this is just like basically theory about what HTML element is all about. So we are going to go straight to our Visual Studio Code. Then I will use that one to explain better. So this is a copy of what we had in our last tutorial sessions. Like we said what's going to be displayed on our screen on our web page is going to be under body. So now let me use this one as an example. Let me clean up so that I can explain what the element is all about. So according to let me go straight back to the definition. They said the element is defined by a start tag. So this is what we mean by a start tag. Something like this h5. This is a start tag. Then take notes, it said some content and an end tag. So for us to have an element, so we basically need three things: the start tag, which is this, the content. So for this one we have the class one as the content, while the h5 is the end tag. So that's basically what we mean by HTML element. So we can have as many elements as possible. I can have paragraph as an element. So this is the start tag, you can see the P. So the other P that has the slash is the end tag, while inside in between them is the content. So I just type, this is my first HTML paragraph. So now that's an example of an element. So in between the start and the end tag is our content. So in between our start tag and the end is the content. So you can see the way it has been structured here. So this is the structure of the HTML element. You have the tag name is going to be in between the start tag, you can see. Then the content is going to be here. Then we have the end tag. So now the tag name. So which means that for the tag name for our header is H. So H5 for H5 element, H6 for H6 element, H1, and so on and so forth. So for paragraph, the tag name is P. So that's basically what we are trying to explain there. So we don't need to really waste our time. So the essence of this is just for us to understand the structure of for better assimilation and for the purpose of viewers that are following us. So I've decided to break the page. So now, and we can it's gonna be easier like this so that everybody can be on the same page. So like I said, for every element you have the start tag, which is like this, the content which goes inside in between the start tag and the end tag. So while although for some elements they don't have the end tag, like an example of that is like brackets. So sorry, break. So if I have br, this break, so it doesn't have end tag, neither does it have a content. It's because of what we use it for. So if you want this let's assume we have, if I save this, you understand it better now. So if I save this, so I go back to my HTML document. So in case if you are still confused about how you are going to open your document, go straight to your folder. I have it here, silicon gist, then I click on it. Once I click on my silicon gist, so it's going to open on the browser. Mind you, my system is a bit slow, so you may have to bear with me, but I believe it's going to open now. So it has opened. So you can see it now. So if I want to have this break tag, is just for it to break to the next line. So for example, now if I want this to go to the next line, I can just put this break here, then I'm going to put it here like this. If I click save and I reload it, you see now it has break to the next line. So this is the essence of the BR here. Is a break tag just for the content to move to the next line. Now let me go back to our public three schools, so which we are using for the purpose of this class. Then we can also have nested element. What we mean by nested element is that we are having element inside an element. So if you have, for example, if you have H5, you have this paragraph inside this H5, you can have it like this. Then you can have, probably you have, let me see, you have another one probably like well, when we get to div, you are going to appreciate the next you are going to appreciate this nested element better. But nevertheless, let me just quickly explain how it works. So if we have H2, in between, let's say we have second header, then we can have another one. We can have, let's say, P, and then let's say we have, well, let me use a very common example, which is the list item. Yes, we have UL, that's another list. So another list, so in between them we can have the list item. So this is a good example. So let's assume I want to name the name of countries. So let me give it an header. So let's say H2. It's very simple. I call it name of countries in Africa, because we are okay. Name of countries in Africa. So because okay, yeah. So Nigeria, which is where we are currently. Then what I want to do now is VS Code, one of the shortcuts. Just click on Shift, Alt, then down button and create next line. It's going to, so let me just write Nigeria, which is where we are now. Cameroon, our neighboring country. We have Niger, is also our neighboring country. Then we have, don't let me bias, so let me put Chad, it's also our neighboring country. Then down south, we have another beautiful country. It's also one of Nigerian neighboring country. and that's the Benin Republic. So name of countries in Africa. So if I save it now, then I go back and then let me just try and close some items here. So if I go back, you can see now. So if I reload it, you can see name of countries in Africa. So this is what we mean by nested elements. So we are nesting, you can see all these list items, they are being nested under UL, which is another list. So that's how you nest items in HTML. So now let's go back and then continue with our class. So it's just trying to explain to us that we can nest elements inside elements. And in fact, a very obvious example here is this H2. H2 is nested inside body, and even all these meta tags too, they are also nested inside head. So that's how you nest elements in HTML. These are something that you always use by the time you start working with HTML very well. And then so I think you've been able to exhaust some of what they have here. And then they said HTML element is a root element. Yes, this HTML here is a root element. Then don't be confused with what we have here, doc type HTML. This is like a command for the browser to know that we are using HTML5. If you don't have it, it's going to work. But it's just for the browser to know that we are using HTML5 because HTML5 is the latest HTML which we are working with now. And then there are some elements that are in 5 and are not in 4. So in order for the browser to be able to meet up with that, so that's why we put this command so that the browser will know that okay, we are using HTML5. So and okay, I will always have a start tag which is this, and the end tag which is this. So then inside this is where we have the body and we also have your head. And of course inside the body is where we have different items like you can have the header, you can have this like another list, you can even have paragraph. So let me have paragraph, and this can generate paragraph with HTML Visual Studio Code. So let me just put 50, 60. So it's going to generate this for us, the dummy text. So this dummy text can be generated automatically. So I'm sorry, let me go back. So if I want to minimize it so that you can see it, if I reload it, you can see this dummy text has been generated. So it's very simple. It's something that you can always work around with. So if in case you want to write like probably maybe someone from other part of the world, maybe you want to write the name of countries in your area. Okay, let's say maybe in Europe, for example. Let me just put H3 and say name of countries in Europe, for example. Of course, let me put a colonial master. So you have the Great Britain. So I have Britain. So I can also now automatically generate other hotel using Shift Alt and down if you are using a Windows system. So Britain. So let me say Italy. So let's say we have Spain, then Germany. So you can see if I save this, if I reload it, so it's going to be generated here. So it's as simple as that. So you see, one thing about HTML is just for you to, you can, it's as simple as writing your Microsoft Word document. So the only thing is just for you to get acquainted with it so that you always know which tag are you using for whatever you want to do. For the paragraph, it's going to be P. For the header, it's going to be H. For the list item, it's going to be LI. And then it's very close to your English words. So for the UL, that's another list. If I want to have underline, the other is the horizontal row. So if I put HR here, so if I save it, for example, you can see. So we have horizontal row. So that's how you do it. So now let's go straight to the next item on our list,